Winter is upon us and cold weather and Teslas don't exactly mix, but that's okay because in this video I'm going to share with you several helpful tips to make sure you get the maximum range and efficiency out of your Tesla this winter. Tip number one is to make sure you check your tire pressures weekly. Every 10 degrees the temperature drops, you can lose up to 1 psi per tire. In my region, we sometimes see 30 to 40 degree temperature dips overnight, resulting in 3 to 4 psi lost in each tire. When your tires aren't aired up properly, you're going to see increased drag and reduced efficiency, meaning that you're going to have to use more energy to go the same distance compared to a vehicle that has properly aired up tires. This is very important during these winter months, especially dealing with fully electric vehicles. Tip number two is to precondition your vehicle before your morning commute. This has several benefits. I mean, who doesn't like hopping into a nice warm car when it's chilly outside? The main benefit of preconditioning is what it does to your Tesla's battery. When you precondition your vehicle, your battery is going to reach optimal performance, meaning you're going to get maximum efficiency and range. In some really cold climates, you're going to see a blue snowflake icon sitting over the battery either through your Tesla app or on your main Tesla driving screen. That indicates that the battery is so cold that you're going to experience reduced efficiency, reduced acceleration, and reduced regenerative braking. Now there are three ways to precondition your Tesla. Number one, which is what I recommend, is to set a preconditioning schedule. You can do this for multiple days during the week and multiple times during that day. My vehicle is set to precondition before I leave for work, but also before I return home. That way I make sure that my battery is at optimal temperature before I depart, making sure I get that maximum range during these colder winter months. The other option that you have is to hit defrost vehicle button in the Tesla app. This not only will defrost the entire vehicle, warm up the cabin, but also warm up the battery so that it's going to get maximum efficiency for your morning commute. The third way to precondition your Tesla is just by activating the climate through your Tesla app. This will automatically trigger the battery to warm up and get to optimum temperature during these colder winter months to make sure that you're getting maximum range when you depart. Tip number three is to set your climate control to auto. The Tesla vehicle is very smart and very intuitive. By setting the climate control to auto, it's going to use the least amount of energy as possible to warm up the cabin and to make you comfortable. For example, instead of relying solely on climate control, the Tesla vehicle will warm up the steering wheel or the heated seats, if those are options in your vehicle, to help you reach that level of comfort sooner. Also, by using the heated steering wheel and seats, you're going to actually use less energy from the battery than you would if you were trying to run the climate to warm up the entire cabin. Tip number four is going to be to set your Tesla's acceleration mode to chill. Now this is massive for battery efficiency. Instead of being in standard or sport, all that energy that you would normally use just to rapidly accelerate is actually going to be retained within the battery or go into the cabin climate control to make sure you're nice and warm during those cold winter months. Tip number five is to leave your vehicle plugged in whenever possible. For those of you that have access to a level 2 home charger, just leave your vehicle plugged in during these colder winter months. When you set that preconditioning schedule and your vehicle goes into preconditioning mode, it's going to use energy from your level 2 home charger, not from your battery, meaning that you're going to leave with the most amount possible for your morning commute, extending that range in case you have to make some extra stops. Now for those of you that don't have access to a level 2 home charger and you're relying on supercharging or public access chargers, you want to try to keep your battery percentage above 20% during this colder winter months. That is going to make sure that you can get the maximum efficiency out of your vehicle. When it dips below 20%, you're putting unnecessary strain on your battery and it makes it more difficult to warm the battery to optimal conditions and give you enough range to actually get anywhere. Tip number six deals with road tripping a Tesla in the wintertime. Be sure to use your onboard Tesla navigation. This does several things. It pre-plans your supercharging stops, which is very important, but more importantly, it preconditions the battery at the correct time before you arrive at the supercharger. What this is going to do, not only help with the long-term health of your battery, but also the short-term time that you spend charging your battery, meaning less time spent at the supercharger, less money spent charging the battery to get you from A to B. Now, tip number 7 deals with leaving your Tesla out there in the cold alone for extended periods of time. And I know that that sounds harsh, but what I'm getting at is when you go on those wintertime vacations and your Tesla's parked at the airport, or maybe over the holidays if you're not actively driving and charging constantly, then here are a few things to consider to make sure that you conserve the energy stored within your battery. Number 1 is to avoid using Sentry mode whenever possible. If you're at the airport and you've got gated and surveilled parking, you can consider turning off Sentry mode to save some excess battery energy. When you have Sentry mode and it activates, it's going to put an unnecessary drain on the battery, meaning that when you return back from your vacation, you might have to charge pretty soon after leaving the airport versus having that stored energy if Sentry mode wasn't activated. The other thing to consider while you're away is the number of times you access the Tesla app to check on your vehicle status. When the vehicle's in sleep mode, you're using the least amount of energy as possible, so you would actually have more energy left over in the battery if you didn't access the vehicle through your Tesla app while you're away. Now, tip number 8 deals less with efficiency and more with gaining entry to your Tesla during these cold winter months. In many cases, when it's cold and icy outside, the door handle on the Model 3 and Model Y will freeze over, preventing you from accessing the vehicle. Now, there are 2 ways that you can get into the vehicle. There's a manual way and a way through the app. The manual way is to actually use the back of your fist and to gently bump the space where you would place your thumb to open up the door handle on the Model 3 and the Model Y. Tesla claims that this will actually break the thin layer of ice that has frozen the door handle shut, allowing you to gain access to the vehicle. Now, the other way to gain access is through the app. There's a popped door icon that you can install on your quick icon bar there in your Tesla app, which will actually electronically pop the door open. You can get a thumb or a finger in there. It doesn't push the door wide open, just wide enough to be able to open it up if the door handle is solidly frozen. Now, another helpful tip for Teslas in the wintertime is to make sure you move your wipers into the wiper service mode. And what this is going to do is move the wipers up onto the windshield so that when you defrost your Tesla, they are going to defrost in conjunction with the windshield. Instead of being tucked down in their resting position, getting iced and snowed over, by putting them into service mode, you are going to be able to defrost those wipers so that you can gain access immediately when you hop in the vehicle and drive off to work. My wife and I used these tips on our last wintertime road trip. If you guys want to see that video, check it out right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.